5, 4, 3, 2.
Hello everybody and welcome to our studio classroom live stream today on this very, very rainy, almost typhoon day.
Yeah, that's right. 欢迎到今天的直播。不知道你可不可以看到我们后面的窗户外面那个雨真的是快写到 I don't know how many degrees 45度吗
Something like
It's kind
that.
of crazy. We got this typhoon coming. It's called 小犬.
Yeah, everyone says it's a super cute name. Somebody at work told me today it's like a little dog.
Right, 小犬快来袭了. We hope it does not become a big 犬. Seriously, we hope that you stay safe during this typhoon. Yeah, so let's get started with today's live stream.
Well, I am Anne-Marie, by the way. I'm the host of the Studio Classroom program, and this is Gabe.
Yeah, my name is Gabe. And, you know, we've already started the month of October, so maybe you have our Studio Classroom October magazine. If not, that is okay, because we still have some great things we want to talk about that have to do with one of the lessons about leadership, 跟领导还有领导性有关系.
That's right. So the article that we are going to be talking about today and our topic for today is found on page 24. The article is called Developing Good Leadership Skills. So before we get into it, we have a question for all of you that we want you to answer. Down in the comments, you will see there's a poll there. And the poll is, do you think you are a good leader?
Now, just 2 seconds ago, Anne-Marie, 2秒前我看到这个 poll, 有 75% 的人说 yes, but then now it changed to just 60% said yes. So as we get more answers in here, we're going to see who feels like they're a good leader and who feels like they maybe can improve.
Well, what about you, Gabe? Have you had a lot of experience with leadership before?
You know, there's official experience, 就是有人正式的派我去做，还是带一个团队去做什么东西. That's official leadership experience. I haven't had a whole lot of that. I led a trip to Mexico when I was in college. That was a very interesting experience.
Did you like being a leader?
Yeah, it was fun, but it was really important for me to have a co-leader. Because having an assistant or having someone who is leading with you, for me, it just helped a whole lot. Yeah, and I've led little trips here and there, here in Taiwan as well, to different schools and things like that. What about you, Anne-Marie?
Well, I had more leadership experience earlier on in my life. When I was in college, I was a shift supervisor at my job. I was president of my club that I was in, and those were positions that someone put me in. They weren't necessarily positions that I went seeking. And then later on, I was also a department manager at my job as well. So I do have some experience with positional leadership, where that was my actual title.
那 Anne-Marie, 你喜欢做领袖吗? Do you like leading others?
I would say that I do, but I have to feel like I am properly equipped, like I have the right tools in order to lead.
Yeah, you know, for me, I prefer coming right behind the leader.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I prefer helping somebody else who has a clear vision. 如果某一个人有很清楚的意向，然后他知道要去做什么，我很喜欢就是在他的背后帮助他。I think it's really important for leaders to have those kinds of people around as well.
Well, I think that is a really important aspect of leadership, is being able to encourage people and push them in the right direction. But there are a lot of misconceptions about leadership, right? And what a leader should be. A misconception is an idea that you think is right or that everybody thinks is true, but it's not necessarily true.
对 misconception 可能会说是错觉，大家都认为是这样子。Like when you think about leadership, maybe a misconception is that a leader always needs to be extroverted. 一个领袖一定要是外向的人。That's a misconception about leadership.
Yeah, another misconception that I've heard before is most leaders are very bossy people, or they like telling people what to do. I've noticed that some leaders, like you said earlier, can come behind people and encourage them. They're not necessarily always the one telling them do this or do that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, are there some misconceptions about leadership that you know of or that you've encountered? Please leave them in the comments below. 如果你有遇到这种对于领导性的这种错觉，请在下面留言一下, because everyone has different experiences, right? And they're very interesting to talk about. But we wanted to share this quote and also this idea of servant leadership. What is servant leadership? Well, that is 仆人式的领导. Can you explain a little more about what servant leadership is?
Yeah, so servant leadership is a philosophy, and it's built on this belief or idea that the most effective leaders, they actually serve others rather than trying to get power for themselves. They're actually in that position to help other people.
Yeah, recently I saw a meme a couple of times on Facebook about leadership, about, a poor leader will stand behind the team. He's like standing behind and telling the team below, go ahead, go that way. And the team in the picture, they're pulling this rope and the leader is on the rope, on the box.
Them.
No, he's on the box.
Oh, he's on the box.
Yeah, so this is poor leadership.
Oh.
Yeah, so they're having to do all the work, whereas a good leader is out front carrying or pulling the rope with those other people and moving the project along.
That's a great example of servant leadership. Like you said, we do have a quote that we found online a few days ago, and we just thought it was perfect for this lesson. It is by Theodore Roosevelt. What does that quote say?
First of all, Theodore Roosevelt was the 26th president of the United States. Okay, there's an entire road here in Taipei named after him, 罗斯福路. I think it's named after Theodore Roosevelt. But this quote is, the best executive is the one who has sense enough to pick good men to do what he wants done, and self-restraint to keep from meddling with them while they do it. 意思就是说，一个很棒的领袖，主管等等，就是知道什么去选最适合的人去做某一个事情，但是他也有自我控制，也可以不用太融入他们应该要去做的东西. He's not meddling in what they're doing.
I love that word meddling because it brings a very distinct picture to my mind. If someone is meddling with something, it means they're getting into something that's not really their business. For example, you could meddle with your friend's life, and maybe you get involved and maybe you tell them what to do or you gossip about them or something like that, and it disrupts their life, but it wasn't any of your business in the first place.
That reminds me of setting friends up on a blind date. Is that, could you consider that meddling sometimes?
If they didn't want you involved in their love life, it could definitely be considered meddling.
All right, so meddle in Chinese you might say 干涉, okay? So 不要乱干涉别人的事情, 对不对? So don't meddle in other people's affairs. Another one that's actually related is the idea of micromanaging. Now, this is 微观管理, and this is the excessive supervision and control of employees' work and processes, as well as a limited delegation of tasks or decisions to staff. So the idea is you're not just being a manager on a big scale, but you're also telling people what to do, and then after you've told them what to do, you get involved with everything, all their little decisions. People don't like that.
I don't like that at all. Those are the worst type of people to work for, people who micromanage you. We have a few people down here in the comments. Thank you so much for commenting. We see Mei Mei here says that Studio Classroom is my best teacher, accompanied with them for more than 15 years. That's amazing. Thank you so much for studying with us.
Oh, yeah. I've been with Studio Classroom for about 17 years.
Wow.
So basically, we started roughly the same time with Studio Classroom. Yeah, thank you so much for being with us all this time. And we hope that you're not a micromanager, of course.
But I see that some more people have answered our poll here. We're now split 50-50 if you think you're a good leader or not. If you haven't answered the poll yet, go ahead and answer yes or no.
That's right. Now, speaking of, getting back to micromanaging this idea, there's someone I'm very close to, and I had a conversation with this person. I thought they needed to know that they had a problem with micromanagement. Mm-hmm. So I told them, I think you micromanage. And this person, she took it as a compliment. 她以为我在赞美她.
No, micromanaging is not a compliment. It means that somebody thinks you are meddling, that you're in other people's things and you shouldn't be. So the best kind of leaders can recognize which people on their staff or on their team are good at what. then they assign those tasks to them and just let them take care of it.
Let them take care of it because they trust them.
Exactly.
You know, a related phrase, 相关的一个词就是 to look over someone's shoulder. Nobody likes feeling like their supervisor is looking over their shoulder at work, right? But that's kind of how we use that phrase. It feels like someone is just looking over my shoulder and watching everything I do.
So what does it take to be a good leader? This is a great phrase for us to look at today too, friends. To have what it takes. If you have what it takes to do something, it means you possess the skills, the knowledge, or the character in order to do that thing correctly.
That's right. So 某一个东西的需求你有没有符合, right? That means you have what it takes. For example, I've been a dad. I've been a father for 6 years, but sometimes I still don't think I have what it takes to be a dad. I'm still learning.
So what does it take to be a good leader? We want to know, what do you think, what qualities does it take to be a good leader? Go ahead and write them down in the comments below.
That's right. We'd love to hear your feedback on this. 一个很卓越的领袖应该要有什么特质，对不对? What traits or qualities should a good leader have? Communication. That's the first word that usually comes to mind when I think of important qualities a good leader has. They need to be good at communicating.
I think delegating is another one that comes to my mind. That's the opposite of micromanaging. Once again, if you delegate things, it means you know what job needs to be done, and then you assign different people to do those things, not just rely on yourself to do it the way you want to do it.
That's right. Now, there's another phrase that we think is really important for people to know. You've probably heard this before. You probably learned it just after you learned an apple a day keeps the doctor away and no pain, no gain. You probably also learned actions speak louder than words.
And that is one of the focus on phrases from this article. Actions speak louder than words. So the general idea here is that it doesn't matter what you say. What matters is what you actually do.
That's right. And, you know, this is so important. I think this is true like 99.9% of the time. If you really want to get to know what someone believes or you know what they really think about something, look at their actions or maybe even their reactions. 他们的反应你也可以去观察 because actions and reactions speak louder than words.
All right, Hermione, thank you so much for commenting. I'm so glad you said something about this. It's been a while since we've had What You Said questions. We have still had them. We're only posting them once or twice a month on our Instagram account. That is sc.hosts. So make sure you are following along with that if you want to answer some of these What You Said questions. And for those of you who don't know, What You Said questions are questions that we ask on our Instagram account that have to do with the magazine. So these are questions where we want to know what your opinion is about the topic.
That's right. That's what we've been doing with part of our TV program this year for the Studio Classroom 电视节目。我们有一个小单元叫做 What You Said, and we're actually featuring the responses that you shared with us on our Instagram. Again, that is sc.hosts. But back to leadership, Anne-Marie. Do you think that people should focus more on their strengths or their weaknesses?
Oh, this is a really, really great question. I think something important for leaders to have is confidence. And so I think you can be always looking to see what you can improve on as a leader, but it is more important, in my opinion, to focus on your strengths. That way you can lead with confidence. What do you think, friends? Strengths or weaknesses? Which one should you focus on?
I agree with you, and this is one reason why it's so important for good leaders to surround themselves with smart people who are even smarter and wiser in other ways than they are, because maybe in an area 可能有一个你自己的缺点是别人的优点，对不对? So it's really important to surround yourself with a good team.
Now, of course, there's always something you can improve on. Something to improve on means something you can make better, something that you can do better than you did the last time, or something like an aspect of your character that you can sharpen or improve. That's what the phrase improve on means.
And what is something that can help you improve as a person or as an employee or as a dad or anything in life? Well, one very important thing is feedback from other people, from the people in your life. Feedback, that is 回馈. Of course, you want to have positive feedback, but it's also really important to try to learn about the things that other people really may think about you that might not be so pleasant.
That's right. Sometimes feedback can be positive. Sometimes feedback can be negative, but the negative feedback is just as important as the positive feedback.
It's true. You know, in English we have a saying, it comes from the Bible, it's speak the truth in love, and this is one of those sayings that people like to use in an improper way. They think they're speaking the truth with a lot of love, but actually they're not really being loving. It's really important to find the right time to talk to somebody, to make sure that you're approaching after you've thought about it and your attitude is okay, to really be able to share something important in love.
So it's not just the words you say, it's how you say them, when you say them, and how you're feeling yourself when you say them to that person. But feedback, it's super important. Is it something you like to get? Do you like to get feedback or not? Personally, I love to get feedback, even if it's negative. Because even if it is negative, I can know how other people are thinking about me. And then whether or not I change is my own decision, but at least I know what their opinion is.
Right, because we all have blind sides, right? 我们每个人都有盲点, just the things that we don't know about ourselves, we just can't see. And so it's super important for us to be approachable. You know, can people actually feel comfortable talking to us about things so that we can improve ourselves? That's a really important thing. But back to servant leadership, there's one quote we'd like to end with today. It's by Albert Schweitzer, who was an expert in a lot of different things. He was known as a polymath. Okay, he was kind of had a lot of knowledge about a lot of different things, and was able to solve problems in a very unique way. But what did he say?
He said, example is not the main thing in influencing others. It is the only thing. So in his opinion, being an example to others and doing the behavior that you are modeling for them, that you want them to do, that is the most important part of leadership.
I think it's worth repeating. Example is not the main thing in influencing others. It is the only thing. If you think that something needs to get done, you know, one thing is that you can start doing it yourself. Often the people who start something, they are the ones that are best at understanding the vision anyway. They're the best at, you know, they really champion that project. And so it's good for them to get involved in a leadership way and to show others how to do it, to be an example.
That is so true. And friends, we have really enjoyed this live stream with you today. We hope to continue these live streams every few weeks. If there's certain topics or articles that you would like us to live stream about, go ahead and drop those down in the comments. We will take your feedback to heart. If you don't have a copy of October's magazine yet, make sure you pick that up.
And let's see here, finally, let's take a look at the poll one more time. Do you think you are a good leader? Okay, at the beginning of our live stream, it started out 75% said yes. So it sounds like the good leaders were also very punctual.
I guess so. I guess you could say that.
Maybe people who feel like they're good leaders happen to be punctual as well. I don't know. But anyway, now it says it's roughly 50-50. But anyway, it's good for us always to work on ways to improve our leadership skills.
All right, that's all the time we have for today, friends. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.